Hello everyone, welcome to the live today. I'm going to be showing you the fire update now on the top left of the screen, and I'll be going through some of the latest updates in terms of what's been talked about and what's going on with the California fires amidst this new warning about the winds posing a new threat to the fires. So let's watch the update, the fire update, and then we will continue the coverage.
Please understand that the inevitable public safety power shutoffs that will be implemented prior to this life-threatening Santa Ana wind event are crucial to preventing new fire starts, and that they help save lives. Yes, they're a challenge to deal with, but it's certainly better than having another fire start. I would like to express my gratitude to the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors for their leadership and unwavering support of our residents, my fire department personnel, and me as fire chief. To our first responders battling these wildfires in the air and on the ground, we commend you for your relentless and fearless dedication in protecting residents throughout this great county. And finally, to our Los Angeles County residents, please be assured that we will continue to battle these wildfires until they are fully contained. We stand alongside all of you as we begin to plan for repopulation of evacuated areas, disaster recovery, and the rebuilding of your homes and your lives. I would now like to introduce California Interagency Incident Management Team 5, Operations Section Chief, Don Fraguglia.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, so quick operational update here for the Eaton fire. Over here, as we start on the right flank in Santa Anita Canyon, things are looking really good across the front country here until we get to about here, and then we're starting to still see quite a bit of heat, quite a bit of work through here in this area. As we come across over here into the Altadena area, I want to just highlight this square box right here is a square mile. So it's a massive, massive area that we're talking about here. That's residential community. It's not wildland. It's a residence, and these are people's houses. So huge Herculean task to get through all this down here. We have a ton of work. It's many days, many weeks of work. Just wanted to highlight that a little bit. As we come through by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, this is looking good. Again, crews engaged, boots on the ground, mopping up. All through the National Forest up here, we continue to make really good progress up there. The weather's in our favor. We're using air tankers, we're using helicopters, all the tools in our toolbox to go get and put this fire out right where you see it right here. So that'll be our goals in the coming days. Thank you very much.
Now we're going to have Los Angeles County Sheriff Commander Tanya E. Plunkett.
Good afternoon. I'd like to take this time to update you on the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's effort in dealing with the Canyon fire. Currently, in response to the fire, our staffing has increased to approximately 500 personnel. Within the personnel, we have active missions, which include controlling traffic points, of approximately 46 hard closures, and traffic control. We also have roving security to deal with looting and address those issues. And when necessary, respond to welfare requests and at the direction of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. As you may, as you may be aware that last night we instituted a curfew order which went into effect from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and currently, within the evacuation zones. It's important to know that these zones are going to be strictly enforced, and the reasons behind them is to enhance public security and address enhance public safety and address public security concerns. Within the curfew, we're asking everyone to stay clear of the affected zones unless they are authorized personnel or emergency responders. Anyone found in violation of the curfew order will be subject to a misdemeanor crime and subject to $1,000 fine. We understand that this is an extremely stressful and challenging time, but we appreciate the public's cooperation as we work together during the crisis. Since the Eaton Canyon fire commenced, we have a total of, 19 arrests, and of those 19 arrests, 4 were for curfew violations last night. We also had a search and rescue task force that commenced this morning, and that will be until the completion. It will begin daily at 6 a.m. and end at 6 p.m. That search and rescue team, we are working jointly with our partners from Los Angeles County Fire Urban Rescue, the Coroner's Office, FEMA, OES, and the use of cadaver dogs to search for remains and reunite families, most importantly. These searches will be a part of a grid search, like I mentioned, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. due to safety concerns and our inability to operate during nighttime hours. Unfortunately, we report that we have 8 deaths within the Eaton Canyon fire area that was affected by the fire. And in an effort to deal with the death and the tragedies as a result of this fire, we do have, working with our partners, family assistance centers that are open to provide information to people looking for missing family members, and that location is the Pasadena Civic Center. It will be comprised of OEM, sheriff's deputies, LAPD, Red Cross, the medical examiner, and the Department of Mental Health. On scene, it's important to remember that if you have missing family members, we have 2 personnel on scene to take those missing persons report for the family members and or friends. In closing, I'd like to mention that we all know so many people have been impacted by the disaster and need help. If you are in a position to help and support the counties, we would appreciate that, and please contact Emergency Network Los Angeles by visiting www.nlaenla.org. At this time, I'd like to introduce Los Angeles County Public Health, Dr. Amish Mahajan.
Good afternoon. My name is Anish Mahajan, Chief Deputy Director of LA County Public Health. I'd like to start by thanking the first responders for their heroic efforts and extending our thoughts and prayers to all who have experienced such profound loss with these fires. We in Public Health are committed to supporting those in need in the months ahead. I'd also like to thank the county supervisors, especially Supervisor Barker, for their extraordinary and thoughtful support of public health and all our county and city partner departments. Yesterday, a local health emergency for LA County was declared by both Secretary Becerra at the federal level and by the county health officer, recognizing the substantial risks to public health due to the impacts of the critical fire events and windstorm conditions. The South Coast Air Quality Management has issued a smoke advisory through Saturday, January 11th at 5 p.m. This advisory will surely be extended. We are all experiencing this wildfire smoke, which is a mix of small particles, gases, and water vapors. It's those small particles that get into our noses and throats and cause those sore throats and headaches. But we must also be very careful for those who are at higher risk for bad health effects from wildfire smoke. And those include children, the elderly, those with respiratory and heart conditions, and people with immunocompromised states. They may have worse symptoms like shortness of breath, wheezing, cough, and chest pain. Everyone in the areas where there's visible smoke or the smell of smoke, and even where you don't see that, we know that the air quality is poor, so you should limit outdoor exposure as much as possible. Do not engage in outdoor physical activity. If you must be outside, wear an N95 or a P100 mask. These are high filtration masks that take out those small particles that get into your body. Keeping indoor air as clean as possible is also important. Keep your windows shut. If you have an air conditioning that can pull air from the outside, that can recirculate air, you can use that. If you have a HEPA air filter or HEPA air purifier, that will help too. All of us are at risk with the poor air quality right now, but some of us in LA County are at even greater risk. For example, if it's part of your job to work outside, it's important that you wear an N95 or P100 mask. In these situations, you may ask your employer for an N95 and they're required to provide it to you free of charge. The LA County Department of Public Health is offering N95 masks through the interim housing sites, shelters, and street teams to LA residents who are experiencing homelessness and living outdoors, and to those persons who are evacuated from where they usually live and staying in temporary shelters. Family assistance centers will also offer respiratory masks to residents who are returning to fire zone areas as they clean up the fire damage. The County of Los Angeles and our partners are also working to distribute over 5,000 HEPA air purifiers to senior centers, nursing homes, and other facilities where individuals are at the highest risk of residing in the worst air quality. Finally, if you experience severe symptoms like coughing, shortness of breath, wheezing, chest pain, palpitations, nausea, please contact your doctor or medical provider or go to an urgent care. For life-threatening symptoms, please call 911. I want to finish by noting that we understand this is a very difficult time for those who are evacuated, and we have a lot of folks who want to get back to their homes and to their neighborhoods. We want to ask folks not to return home until you're told that it's safe to do so. There is a lot of toxins left over after the fire. There's a lot of smoke there. And once you are going back, the key is to remain covered up. Make sure you're wearing gloves. Household dishwashing gloves are okay. Long sleeves, long pants, and you should be using an N95 mask. The LA County Department of Public Health is also offering N95 masks to LA residents who are returning to the fire zone areas as the cleanup of the fire damage begins. Those masks are also available at the county evacuation centers and other sites. I'm going to finish there and happy to answer questions. Next, I'll invite City of Pasadena Mayor Victor Gordo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just returned from visiting the devastated areas of Pasadena and Altadena, and devastation really is the only word. I visited with the Southern California's congressional delegation, and I'd like to thank them for taking the time to see firsthand exactly what's happening in our community. While it's devastation up there, I know that our community, our people in Altadena and Pasadena, we really are one community, is a resilient and strong community. And I'm here to tell all of you that the County of Los Angeles, Supervisor Barger, the State of California, and our congressional delegation is committed to supporting as we bounce back, and we will bounce back in Pasadena and Altadena. The resilience that we've shown in the past disasters is proof of that. I'd also like to thank the first responders for all of their hard work and courage in assisting our residents. And finally, I'd like to say this: if you are thinking of coming to Pasadena and or Altadena for the purpose of looting, know this: the Pasadena Police Department and the LA County Sheriffs will be there to meet you. If you're even thinking about it, think twice, because the Pasadena Police Department and the Pasadena and then the LA County Sheriffs will not only be there to greet you, but you will be arrested. And so I would discourage anyone from even thinking about coming and victimizing our residents. Thank you very much.
And now I'd like to introduce the CEO of Southern California Edison, Stephen P. Powell.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Powell, President and CEO of Southern California Edison. As a longtime, entire life resident of Southern California, it has been, words can't describe how horrific it is to see the impact on our communities, friends, my colleagues at Edison, even through these fires. Just been terrible to see. As we look forward, I first want to say thank you to the first responders, the fire agencies that are out there protecting the community and partnering with us on keeping people safe. I want to say thank you to our crews, our contractors, as well as those that provide mutual assistance from PG&E that are out there working 24/7 to bring power back on in our communities. As of this morning, Edison still had about 50,000 customers without power. That's down from a peak of over 500,000 just a couple of days ago, so we're making significant progress on the power restoration. We've got over 120 crews supported by other field personnel. There's thousands of people out working 24/7 to bring power back on once it's safe to do so. At the same time, there's a lot of places where we don't have access, where there's a lot of damage that could lead to really extended outages. As Chief Maroney mentioned, we're also not through all the weather issues. We see a big wind event coming in next week, and that could lead to more public safety power shutoffs. Again, as an electric utility, we never want to shut people's power off. But to protect our communities when the conditions are merited, we need to use it as a tool of last resort, and we will be doing that. So just want to let everybody know that's been out there without power for 5 days now. We've got our crews working 24/7 to bring power back on as it's safe to do so. Thank you. Next up is State Senator Sasha Renee Perez.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start off by first acknowledging that we have members of our Altadena Town Council here with us today, and I really just want to give them a big shout out. You know, so many members of their town council who are the elected body of Altadena have not only lost their homes, but they are also out there volunteering, making sure that people are getting resources, and that is so critical and so important. And so I just want to recognize the work that they're doing after they have lost so much. This is such a difficult time, and I am so grateful that you all have taken the time to be here and to join us. First, I want to share with you all, I was with the Attorney General this morning. He wants to make it very clear to everyone that price gouging is illegal. We have received reports that there is price gouging happening, whether that is around hotels, whether that is around apartment housing, whether that's around water. That is not okay. If you see price gouging happening online, please report it immediately. Us making sure that we are holding people accountable depends on all of you reporting. The website to do that is oag.ca.gov/report. I want to make this clear again, price gouging is illegal. It is not okay to price gouge during a state of emergency. These are innocent people that you are taking advantage of, and I want to remind folks, please have some humanity during this difficult time. In addition to that, many have been asking about help with navigating their insurance. We have an insurance workshop that's going to be happening here in Pasadena on Saturday, January 25th, and Sunday, January 26th at Pasadena City College. Both of those events will be happening at 10 a.m. You can schedule your appointment in advance at 1-800-927-4357. Make sure to call. You can go ahead and meet with an expert there who will assist you with navigating your insurance policy. In addition to that, we've been receiving questions about medication. If you've lost your prescriptions in the fire, you need them to be replaced. City of Pasadena pharmacy team is refilling prescriptions. In addition to that, Ultimed is providing immediate medications such as inhalers, albuterol, high blood pressure medication, and general medication for emergent needs at the Pasadena Convention Center. Ultimed is also providing mental health support and wound care as well. Both of those will be at the Pasadena Convention Center. And in addition to that, FEMA staff is currently at the Pasadena Convention Center right now. They will be here in the coming days from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to help those that need help with navigating their FEMA applications. I know that I've heard from many residents that they've received denial letters even though they've lost their homes, they've lost everything. FEMA staff is in town, located at Pasadena right now. They can help you with navigating that application. Please head there if you need assistance. And also you can reach out to our office. We will connect you with somebody at FEMA. Last but not least, Pasadena and Altadena are still communicating to the public to avoid drinking tap water in impacted areas. Please contact your local water utility to assess if your area has been impacted. We know the City of Pasadena is hosting water bottle distribution centers at 450 North Lake Avenue. We also have Pasadena City College acting as a distribution center for donation goods. So if you need those items, please go ahead and head there. And once again, just want to thank everybody that's been donating, all of the volunteers. I just came from the Pasadena Convention Center. On top of our firefighters being on the front lines to contain this fire, we also have the California Fire Foundation giving out $250 gift cards to those that have lost their homes. And it is just so tremendous to see firefighters that have spent the last several days working nonstop, exhausted, sleeping for a few hours, and getting up to go volunteer at the convention center. That's the work that these guys are doing, and it's just so incredible. I can't express enough my appreciation for everything that they're doing. And just thank you all so much. This is community coming together. This is how we're going to get through this. Next up, I'll introduce my colleague, Assemblymember John Harabedian.
Thank you, Senator Perez. Thank you, Chair Barger, for all your continued leadership. My name is John Harabedian. I'm the Assembly Member for the areas affected by the Eaton fire. And as many of you know, this is very personal for me. I was born and raised and grew up in Sierra Madre, minutes and miles away from most of the devastation. I was playing, growing up in homes that are no longer there, grew up playing sports in parks that are no longer there. And to all of the families whose lives have been upended, my heart and prayers are with you. I can't imagine the devastation and the feelings that you are feeling right now. As I was saying to many of my friends last night when we were all together, many of whom lost their homes, a lot of them are facing unbelievable amounts of trauma to going back to their properties and just seeing a foundation. And as I told them, the foundation of this community, of all of us, is going to be there for them forever. While they need to rebuild on their own foundation, there is a foundation of all the people behind us, all the people that you live with in your neighborhoods that are going to be steady and are going to be with you every step of the way. Rest assured, statewide resources will be there. Speaker Robert Rivas was here in the district, as the supervisor said today. We toured together with the rest of the Assembly LA County delegation. Many of my members here, Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez, Assemblymember Mike Fong, were there as well. And we are committed to bringing as many resources as we need to help all those affected, to have a plan for the rebuild, and to make sure that no one is left out. All I'll say is that this is an active disaster. As many of you know, it is a perilous situation. Please have an emergency evacuation plan, and if there is an evacuation order, especially over these next few days, heed it. We stand united with one voice. We will get through this together, and we love you. We are praying for you, and we will continue to be right here for you. Thank you.
I would like to clarify on behalf of Chief Augustine, our fire chief who's here with us, that Pasadena does not have a curfew in place. We are considering it, and our executive leadership team will make that determination. Para la comunidad de habla hispana, quiero decirles que yo sé que nuestra comunidad es resiliente, fuerte, y vamos a sobrevivir este evento. Aquí estamos con el Condado de Los Ángeles.
This is in Spanish currently. Hello everyone, welcome. We've got some updates coming in the next few minutes. I'm going to be showing you a few things, including information about these new winds, Santa Ana winds, that they're concerned about. I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining us. Please do like the live stream and share it with others. It really helps the algorithms. I will switch back to this and then we'll be back with an update shortly.
For Supervisor and Chair Catherine Barger. We wanted to acknowledge the elected officials that are here showing their support. Assembly Member Mark Gonzalez, if you can please raise your hands as I name you. Assembly Member Mike Fong. La Cañada Flint Ridge Mayor Michael Davitt. Pasadena Council Member Justin Jones. And as mentioned, of course, our much cherished Altadena Town Council Chair Victoria Knapp, and also Vice Nick Arzan. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is AJ Lester. I'm a Public Information Officer here on the Infire. That will conclude our speakers for today. We're going to now open up for questions. If any of the media has questions, please state your name and the agency that you represent, and we will walk around with a microphone and get a question. First question here, gentleman in the blue.
Gary Johnson, KCAL. I saw hundreds of electrical repair trucks gathering at Santa Anita this morning. Can you tell us the plan of attack for all those trucks and when they will get started? And they seem to be from all over the Southwest.
So again, this is Steve Powell, Southern California Edison. So in the event that we have a significant of damage to repair, we will stand up a temporary laydown yard. That's a place where our crews can go to collect materials, collect the next job, and get out into the community, and it keeps us efficient, storing power as quickly as possible. So as I mentioned, we have over 123 crews that are actively working on restoration, and that is a place where they can go and make sure that we're being really efficient. So we were able to get into the communities and get crews out yesterday, and they've been out doing damage assessment, beginning to clear things so that we can begin the restoration. So all those crews are active working today. I was actually there this morning.
Beth Slapaz, KABC Telemundo 52. This is for the Edison director. Is there any truth that one of your lines may have caused falling for the Hearst fire? And what do you know about that?
So we're going to talk about the Hearst fire? Yeah. So we filed what's called an electric safety incident report, which we're required to file when there's either media or a certain amount of damage or a certain criteria to get hit. There's a lot more investigation to be done on the Hearst fire to understand what caused the fire. And so right now we don't have any evidence that says that the Hearst fire was caused by our equipment, but there's a lot more investigation to be done.
Any further questions from the media? Okay, that will conclude our press conference if there's no further questions. We'll have breakout where we have utilities, SoCal Gas, Edison on the side. We'll also have Spanish speakers if anyone would like to do interviews over there along with public information officers. Thank you for coming to our press conference.
Well, there we go. That was the update there from the department, the official departments. Let me just remove this. Thank you everyone for joining us, as I said. I'll be giving you an update on various things now. We have a National Weather Service update to show you, which just happened in the last hour, where they discuss what they see as potential threats for these new winds, possibly affecting the fires. So I will show you that in just a moment. Welcome everyone, good to have you with us. So I wanted to show you some of the latest figures here with the containment of the fires. And we will be discussing a little bit also about what people have been talking about in regards to the cause of them, which of course has not officially been said yet, but I'll be speaking about that as well on here. I'm thankful for your opinions in the live chat. I put up a post earlier just saying, you know, people can have their various opinions on what's going on here, but it doesn't need to be aggressive, or it doesn't need to be, you know, insulting other people for their views as people discuss what's going on. But yeah, this is the containment of the fires, the latest statistics. You see now that they're saying that the Palisades fire is 11% contained, which means it's still 89% out of control. But only 11%, I think, was it yesterday that was about 6 or 8%? And then the Eaton fire, they say, is 15% contained, and that's burnt 14.1 thousand acres, and the Palisades 21.6 thousand acres. The Kenneth fire is now up to 80% contained. So these two are still quite low in terms of the containment percentage there, even at this stage. And as I said, they're talking now about further Santa Ana winds causing a threat over the next few days. So that's the latest statistics in terms of the containment of the fires. And Benny Johnson just posted in the last hour or so that this Palisades fire is now rapidly approaching homes in Brentwood. You see there the footage of how close it is to these homes there in Brentwood. And unfortunately, 11 are dead and 13 missing in LA County. Thousands of firefighters are battling the sprawling wildfires across LA. So sadly, according to these, 11 people have lost their lives at least, and I would assume probably more. And also there's been further evacuations today. This is on the LAFD, Los Angeles Fire Department. There's been further mandatory evacuations. You see this area in red. That's today. Immediate threat to life. This is a lawful order to leave now. The area is lawfully closed to public access. South Pacific Coast Highway and various other places. These areas here you can see on the screen, and people being asked to go to these evacuation centres. And a good point here I just wanted to mention as well, recently, just how much Christian churches have been helping to look after people, and that's just a really great thing to see, how churches are opening their doors to look after people who are stranded or in trouble. So, you know, shout out to the Christians that have been really looking after people and helping people, because it's so important, isn't it, to help the suffering and pray for the suffering in the midst of really difficult times. I mean, I saw some footage also, really heartbreaking, of just some like elderly people being quickly taken out of their homes to try and get them to safety by family members and officials. And just, it's so sad to see, you know, confused and not really sure what's going on, and just seeing the vulnerable people affected by such horrible circumstances. So I think when we talk about these things, it's always good to remember the people, the vulnerable people that are suffering in the midst of these horrible events. No matter what the cause is, you know, there's always vulnerable and vulnerable people that are suffering, that we need to remember how difficult it must be for some of these people who are going through this. Hello Nikki H, hello Mud, thank you for joining us as mods, I really appreciate it. Hello to all the Rise Live members, thank you for supporting the live licenses and the live feeds, and all the other viewers that are here with us today, thank you. So I'm going to go in a moment, as I said, to the National Weather Service to give you an update on what they're saying in terms of these new winds that are sweeping in, they think, in the next few days, and how that might affect these fires. I've got a few more updates to come. I might switch to the National Weather Service first. It's only about 10 minutes long, and then I'll give you some more updates in terms of other things that have been going on.
Is going over just the continued fire weather concerns with additional Santa Ana winds going into early next week. Just a reminder, there will be no partner email today. We're replacing it with this webinar, and we will send out shareable slides, recordings, and weather stories and all of that after, so no need to frantically take notes or screenshots or anything. And finally, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the question chat there, and we will get to them all at the end. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Thanks for waiting there. My name is Rose Schoenfeld, and I'm a meteorologist out of the Los Angeles Oxnard office. And this webinar today is going over the fire weather concerns this weekend into mid this week with continued Santa Ana winds. Just a reminder, this webinar will be replacing our usual partner email, so we'll have that webinar instead. And then about an hour after the end of this webinar, we should have the slides, recording, and all the graphics sent out to you all as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the question box there, and we will get to them all at the end. Okay. All right, so here are the key points here for our webinar today. We're focusing on that fire weather, that wind, and we're just in a continued period of critical fire weather through Wednesday, with red flag warnings that have been issued now through Wednesday for portions of LA and Ventura County. The periods of greatest concern are going to be tonight into Sunday morning, and then again late Monday into Tuesday we'll have another peak as well. The outlook does show some improvement for later this week, Thursday into the weekend, with lighter winds, increasing humidities, and a 20% chance of some light rain. So that will offer some reprieve. It looks like after the weekend then there is a chance for more fire weather impacts after that, but we'll keep an eye on that and stay updated with that. So here's that hazard matrix that you'll usually see in our partner email here. Again, that major story is going to be the fire weather all the way through mid next week, a really extended period of that. Here's a graphic. This is depicting where we currently have those red flag warnings. So the timing for these are all the same. They're in effect right now, and they go all the way through Wednesday. Predominantly going to be the mountain areas, and it does include areas of the Palisades fire, portions of the northern part of the Eaton fire as well. So these areas are still going to be highly concerned fire weather-wise. We have some high wind warnings as well going into effect at 6 p.m. tonight through 2 p.m. on Sunday. These are predominantly going to be mountain locations of LA County, the San Gabriel Mountains, Santa Susana Mountains, and then the western Santa Monica Mountains. The bright side with this is that does leave out the fire that is down in the more eastern portion of the Santa Monica Mountains out of that high wind warning. There are additionally wind advisories in effect for large portions of LA and Ventura County through at least Sunday and potentially being extended. So here's the wind details. Today into Sunday, we have kind of the first pulse here. The winds are mostly from the northeast with this, predominantly affecting LA and Ventura County. Sustained around 15 to 30 miles per hour with gusts of 30 to 50. And then in the mountains, we could see gusts of up to 70 miles per hour, specifically those areas that I just called out there in the high wind warning. The winds are going to peak tonight into Sunday morning, and then we will see a brief drop in those winds Sunday afternoon into night. So that will give a little bit of improving conditions just briefly before the next round of Santa Anas get going. Next up then, we do have another Santa Ana wind day event this Monday into Wednesday. This is again going to predominantly affect LA and Ventura counties with a bit more of an easterly component with this. Moderate confidence in these Santa Ana winds. They may end up varying by around 10 miles per hour here. So it may end up more strong Santa Ana, or it could end up more of a moderate Santa Ana event. Winds are mostly from the northeast direction at 30 to 50 miles per hour. And then again, there's around 50 to 70 miles per hour gusts are possible for wind-prone mountain and foothill areas in Ventura and Los Angeles County. Winds for this event will peak late Monday into Tuesday. So that's that second period of greatest concern. We are going to see some marine and coastal conditions in alignment with this event. Hazardous sea conditions, including Catalina Island at times, and then particularly some of those near shore areas will see some of these Santa Ana wind gusts. And there's about a 50% chance of 20 to 30 knot gusts reaching Avalon Harbor, especially during those peak wind times that we mentioned earlier. And then finally, there's low end high surf for the Central Coast and Ventura County until noon on Sunday. Here's some graphics. This one's a social media graphic just depicting this next portion of this red flag event here through Wednesday. And then additionally, here's some evacuation graphics that we'll be sending out here. And we also have this one now translated into Spanish for all of your users. And so here's just our key points again. If you have any questions or comments, both feel free to contact us after this webinar, or feel free to put them in the chat, and we will get to them here in just a moment. Okay, if you have any questions, oh, okay, I'm starting to see them here. Okay. First question, are there any estimates for the geography and scale of the rain that we could see over next weekend. Generally speaking, it's looking pretty light. The biggest areas of southern areas of mostly LA, Ventura County, if we see any rain with that. The next one, what are the forecasted RHs during these events? Good question. For the first portion through around Sunday, around 10 to 20%. And then the second one is going to be a little drier, down to around 5% on Wednesday. Monday through Wednesday will be around 5 to 15%. Okay, next question. Where exactly might gusts reach more than 56 miles per hour, and could they hit 80 miles per hour anywhere? Yeah, places that are going to reach 56 or potentially are going to be everywhere that's in that high wind warning. That's that graphic that's in that kind of gold color, if you recall. And these slides will be sent out so you can reference that there, but it's mostly going to be mountain areas of LA County. Yeah, and those same areas, that high wind warning is probably going to look pretty similar for the second event, Monday through Tuesday. So we're probably going to see similar looking high wind hazards for that event as well that might reach 56 miles per hour. Can you briefly provide an extended wind forecast? Did you have a specific location for that? That you were looking for that extended wind forecast? Yeah, let's see. Okay, I'm seeing, okay, for the extended wind forecast, I'm seeing a no, disregard that. You are welcome to give our office a call after this webinar here and we can chat through whatever details you were interested in. Any 80 mile per hour gusts expected. At this time, not a huge amount. It's not impossible, but we're not overly expecting that much 80 miles per hour.
Yeah, there's at least a low end potential as we head into that secondary event, in particular late Monday into Tuesday, if that overperforms.
Okay, any other questions? I'll give it just a few more seconds here for that too. Oh, okay. The second voice was just saying that there's a low end potential Monday night into Tuesday for 80 mile per hour gusts over higher elevation, but generally not too common. All right, thanks so much. We'll go ahead and wrap this up and we will send the recording and the slides out shortly. Thank you all for joining.
So there you go. That was the update from the National Weather Service in terms of the winds that they are expecting could come into certain areas around Los Angeles. They said until tomorrow, early hours of tomorrow morning, from what I saw there. So that's the current concerns that they've had. And as I said, this is the latest statistics in terms of the containment of the fires. And yeah, only 11% on the Palisades fire, with over 21,000 acres burned, and the Eaton fire with 14.1 thousand acres burned, and still very low in terms of the containment of those fires. So I wanted to just show you a few things, interesting things that have been going on and discussed, which is the point of obviously these broadcasts, is to show you what's being discussed. As I said before, when we show things on these broadcasts, it doesn't mean that this is the opinion of me or of Rise or of people in the group or people talking on the chat. We're just literally showing what's going on. So you're aware of what is being discussed in the world and what the world's events are. So this is a picture of Tom Hanks' mansion in the Pacific Palisades, which was somehow spared from the flames. And there's a few stories here in terms of the, quote, chilling pics showing how LA fires missed celeb homes by inches, with Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg's mansions safe for now. The new Kenneth Blaze is expected to turn more celebrity pads to ash as the flames edge towards the hidden hills. So, yeah, this, what people have been talking about with the reason for the fires. Obviously, there's different ideas, and the thing is that you get a number of people come on and they are very convinced as to what the exact cause is and the exact reason why it happened. But then you get obviously different views on that, and each person can sometimes be absolutely convinced that their ideas are correct. I think it's great to share them, but really we do need to be respectful in terms of opinions and ideas of what's going on. It's great to discuss different things in the world, but I just think it should be done respectfully. It's not really fair to attack people or get aggressive over it, so please do be respectful. We talked about, another arson suspect arrested as California wildfires spread. Some people will turn around and say, well, that's just a patsy, or that's just a excuse for what's happened. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but when we show what's being discussed, it's just to make people aware of what's being discussed. And the thing is that I think it's important to keep nuance here when looking at these things, in that just because someone is arrested for arson doesn't mean to say it is or isn't the original cause of the fire, or that it might be blamed on someone, or that it might be part of a network of people doing that, or it might be people put up to it, or it might be copycats, people who are taking advantage of the fires and also looting and various other things. So there's a lot of different factors that could go into that. And just because someone or a few people are arrested legitimately for arson, it doesn't mean to say that that was the original cause of the fire. And it doesn't mean that if the original cause was different, that other people can't copycat and then go on to commit arson, or various other factors. So I don't think it's always helpful to have this black and white thinking that just because the fires happen for one reason, it doesn't mean that someone else can't come along and light a fire. Because clearly we have seen, in the live broadcast we showed yesterday, posted even by, I forget his name now, on Twitter, who we showed yesterday, I forget his name, but he does like mental health videos, and he's quite popular online. And Andrew, I forget his last name, but he posted his own video across his street of people, which he says in the video are people intentionally starting a fire. And that was like a day or two before this really got a lot worse. So he's a trustworthy person. He's not a random person, and he doesn't seem like the sort of person that would make something like that up. So clearly there seems to have been either some copycat arson going on and people looting homes, and for whatever reason there has been some people. Now this Gloria Lynn Mandic, 60 years old, in connection with a brush fire that ignited in Los Angeles County. So that's an arrest that happened yesterday. And also there's been suspected arsonist today arrested in Azusa amid California fires. Officers in Azusa, California have arrested a man suspected of arson following a brush fire that broke out in Pioneer Park. As wildfires ravaged Southern California, Azusa Police Department apprehended unhoused man Jose Escobar on suspicion of igniting the fire at around 11:40 p.m. on Friday as he was standing near the flames. LA County Fire Department quickly responded and extinguished the blaze in Pioneer Park. And also we covered the man with the flamethrower, or the device that lights fires. I think it was yesterday. He was released. They said that they couldn't find any further evidence of him committing arson. So just to let you know with that update, but the people around him at the time claim that they did see that. So that's also something else that's been going on. So I don't want to falsely accuse anyone with that, but that was someone who was arrested yesterday, or at least questioned, and he's since been released. But then since then there's been other ones that have been arrested for arson. Now, does that describe what the motive is? Does that mean they were copycats? Possibly. Does that mean something else? Maybe. We'll have to see what happens and what comes out. So I think it's good to keep context with this. I don't think this black and white thinking can be helpful when just because someone legitimately does an act of arson, it doesn't mean that's the original reason for the fires. And it doesn't also mean that if the original reason for the fires was different, that there can't be arsonists. So I think it's unhelpful with this kind of black and white thinking where people get some people have been quite abrasive and attacking people for just showing what's going on in terms of this. So thank you to Martino Berto. Really appreciate your support of the live stream. He said thanks for your coverage and commentary. It's helpful. I'm in Azusa also. Thank you. Much appreciated. I'm glad it helps. Thanks for helping and keeping us on the air. So there has been some of these arrests. There's an account here which posts wildfire tracking on X or Twitter, if anyone's on there, and it's quite helpful. So they've been talking about how the evacuation orders have been lifted in the Hearst fire. All evacuation warnings have been lifted. That was an hour ago. The LA Fire Department thank the residents that were impacted by the fire. And then on here, per radio traffic, again, a suspected arsonist is reported to be on View Ridge off of Topanga at the trailhead. Law enforcement is now being dispatched. So it's just terrible to see the looting and people taking advantage of this. Of course, I suppose that's always a risk with events like this. People being forced out of their homes with mandatory evacuation orders and then having their homes looted. And also, seemingly, people purposefully trying to start fires. Whether or not that was the initial cause or not, that certainly seems to have been going on. It says here, Palisades fire. A fire well has crossed containment lines and the resulting spot fire is now 5 acres with a rapid rate of speed. Unclear where this is located. So yeah. So I wanted to also mention this because I think it's important to mention this because of the amount of people that have been talking about it. This has actually been shown in the media recently with a lot of people coming onto the live chat and talking about this. They say California wildfires, were they deliberately set for Agenda 2030 and smart cities, fact-checking the bizarre claims. So this has actually made its way into the media, just to let you know. Multiple wildfires have wreaked havoc in LA County, causing massive destruction and forcing tens of thousands to evacuate their homes. Amid this chaos, a, quote, bizarre claim has emerged on social media, alleging that the California wildfires were intentionally started as part of a criminal land grab to construct smart cities under the UN 2030 agenda. What's the truth? So, as I say, I'm just showing you that this has actually made its way into the media now. And I know a lot of people talk about this on the live broadcast, so I thought you might be interested to see this. LA wildfires spark odd conspiracy theories. Disaster is part of smart city plot. So they call that here disinformation. Online disinformation about the LA wildfires has sparked a resurgence of bizarre conspiracy theories revolving around smart cities. More than 100,000 people have been evacuated. And then it says a number of wild claims have been touted, including one from none other than President-elect Donald Trump, who said the fires are all the fault of California Governor Gavin Newsom. Then it says right-wingers have also seized on a video of LAFD firefighters to blame Democrats for allegedly diverting supplies to Ukraine. Firefighters were seen using small canvas bags to quickly put out a garbage fire. widely shared social media posts claim the firefighters were resorting to using women's handbags due to budget cuts. So, yeah, so you see that this is also now being talked about, the 15-minute city strategy to reduce the traffic, pollution and high housing costs in LA. This was published in July the 21st, 2022. I haven't seen a whole lot of new articles before the fires in the last few months or so about smart cities or 15-minute cities in LA, but it certainly seems to have been talked about in 2022, 2023, maybe early 2024, but not a whole lot of new articles that I've seen at a quick glance. But yeah, they certainly have been talking about this in the last few years. These are two things we can probably all agree on. LA is increasingly unaffordable and it has too much traffic. But what if you could get everything you need within 15 minutes of your reasonably priced apartment without having to set foot in a car? Doesn't sound like LA, right? Jenny Hons thinks it's possible. She heads the Livable Communities Initiative, a group of urban planners, architects and climate and housing advocates who are pushing for LA to be a 15-minute city. So, I'm not saying that this is linked. I don't know, quite frankly, and I don't know the future, so I can't predict the future. This is the thing that I can't come on here in front of people and just start saying that this is definitely this or that in terms of the future, because I don't know myself, but I'm just showing you, because people have been talking about it, I'm just showing you why they're saying it, that's all. So this is a pamphlet about the Smart LA 2028 technology for a better Los Angeles. And it says, technology enables the city of Los Angeles to efficiently and ethically improve the quality of life for our residents, businesses and visitors. In other words, when done right, technology makes us smarter. This is why the city of Los Angeles strives to be a smart city. So it talks about using technology to create this smart city, and you can see all the different elements on the screen there. Our vision for Los Angeles. So, as I say, I haven't mentioned this before very much. I have a tiny bit. I've also done some polls on here before, but I'm in no way saying that this is anything to do with it. I mean, if this is the plan, if this is a plan that comes to fruition in the future, then maybe this, even if this isn't related, maybe this is something that might happen in the future. I can't imply any intention or myself. I can't make bold statements. All I can do is tell you about what people are discussing, and just the fact that this is something that has been discussed in the past. But I'm not implying any intention in terms of this current situation. But sometimes out of that it can happen. I don't know. So this is something that has been discussed before, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention. But again, I don't know the future, and I don't know the actual reasons specifically in terms of these current events. There's lots of speculation about, but it still remains speculation until there's evidence, right? Hard evidence. So I just wanted to bring these things to your attention, and that these Santa Ana winds, these new winds, are expected to pick up. Neighborhoods now under evacuation orders include, I think that's Encino, is it? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce some of these place names. And Brentwood in West Los Angeles. So, another thing I find online is can be very toxic or very unhealthy, is when people just some people, obviously not many, but some people just automatically jump to events being fake. Like, even if there's like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that witness it with their own eyes, some people always divert to the idea that it's just completely fake. And I think that is such a just not a rational or reasonable thing to do, and it's also very undermining of the suffering that people go through to just, I mean, how can you care for people if you just claim it's fake, right? And they come on and they, just one or two people, and they say, well, all of this footage is fake, all of this is fake, but it's just not a rational way of thinking. To just automatically dismiss everything as that, and it's really actually quite harmful, because obviously there's real people suffering in these events. So it's a really sad thing, and I think sometimes people get so far down this rabbit hole that they start to not think very clearly about some of the things that are discussed. So anyway, this is the latest. I will put on the radio, the Los Angeles County Fire Department radio, so we can listen to what's being discussed up to date. I have a, where is it? I did. I'll put the radio scanner on so you can hear what is being discussed up to the moment, while we see some of the latest images in California.
Helicopter 7 Alpha Hotel has assumed wires down across One-Way Road. Rio.
Helicopter 7 Alpha Hotel, you were broken, unreadable. Can you repeat?
7 Alpha Hotel has assumed Palisades Helco. Copter 7 Golf Hotel returning to Camarillo.
Copies. 7 Golf returning 7 Alpha, assuming.
But quite honestly, seeing some of this footage of the destroyed, which I'm just watching on another screen, and you'll see soon in a bit on the helicopter footage at some point soon, just unbelievable the destruction that has been left behind by these fires in some of these areas. Unbelievable. It looks like a nuke has gone off. It's unbelievable.
Westridge right now, I have water tender E431, E429, E420, and E425 that were on your IAP for this morning. I want to make sure if you need them, I can get them heading your way. If not, I can find work for them. Good on that at the moment. Can you repeat the first one? E431. Thank you. Yeah, we're good. You can keep them for now. Copy. Thank you.
Well, and of course they say that California has had a drought leading up to this as well, and that in some places there hasn't been enough water. Someone said, do you get fires in England? Not really, not like this.
Palisades Communications.
I know it's a common thing. Well, this has happened before in California, but a lot of people that live there have said that this just isn't a normal level, and this does seem quite a significant event, right? Well, and of course there's been power cuts as well, hasn't there, in California?
Palisades Communications, Mike.
Division Mike, Palisades Communications, reports of flames and smoldering brush at 17352 Sunset Boulevard. 17352 Sunset Boulevard.
Division Mike.
Alpha, Strike Team 9115 Golf. Command.
This is before and after here, you see?
Yeah, it's affirmative. 9115 Golf. We've been assigned to your division. Where would you like us?
It's devastating.
At 9115 Golf, Alpha 20. Where are you at now? We're at, driving up, Mandeville Canyon Road right now. At 9115 Golf, Alpha. 9115 Golf. If you got the most recent map from today, it's at drop point 15. Repeat the drop point. Drop point 15. I copy. Drop point 15. Branch 1, Division Alpha.
Branch 1.
You can... We need no more equipment out here on Division Alpha. If you can make that known. We're good with what we have.
Yeah, understood. And we still may receive more, but I'll try and push it to a different place.
Branch 1 Alpha, you're walked on.
Branch 1 copies.
So, as I say, I showed some of those things because it's being discussed on here. I'm making no direct claims or accusations or implications myself. I'm just showing you what's going on. I don't know the future. I'm not a prophet. So, I'm just showing you what's being discussed
13, bring your hand tools up as well.
in terms of these events. Just trying to give you a broad range of, which to me is what journalism should be. Just giving you a broad range of opinions and arguments and what's being reported and shown and discussed by both the media and other people and different perspectives. So.
Branch 1, Palisades Communications.
Communications, Branch 1.
Are you able to make a call into the communications center?
Confirming it's the number ending in 0932.
That's correct.
Placing a call.
Branch 10, Air Operations on command.
Unit calling, operations identifying, go ahead.
Yeah, there's no sound when, well, the LAFD radio scanner comes and goes as they talk to each other on the scanner, so I try not to speak over it. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. We will keep this on for a while, listen to the live scanner so you can hear what they're discussing in terms of the absolute up to the moment updates on the scanner, where they're talking about where things are going on and what's happening to each other in the LA Fire Department. But please do like the live video if you can. That really helps the algorithms, helps us to get it out there. Please subscribe if you like these updates. Click the notification bell to all notifications, so that you have to do that in order to get, I think, to get the updates you have to click the bell if you haven't already, and click all notifications, otherwise it doesn't always send it to people. The California Wildfire Tracking says we are far from the end of the historically catastrophic wildfires in Los Angeles County. The Palisades fire is far from over. Please heed all evacuation warnings and orders. Now is the time to prepare for another potentially historic fire weather event starting next Tuesday. During the extended period, Santa Ana winds could continue. Per the News Weather Service, the National Weather Service, Los Angeles, quite a strong event, likely stronger than the events the last few days, are possibly rivaling the initial wind event last Tuesday. Fire weather concerns are long-range spotting, extreme fire behavior, and very rapid rates of spread will be likely with this event. And there is also the potential for strong damaging winds that bring the potential for continued widespread power outages. Thank you, Nikki H. Thank you for modding. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Mud, as well, for modding. And the city of Santa Monica said critical fire weather remains with low humidity and gusty winds. The National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning in effect through Wednesday, 15th of January. Gusts could reach up to 30 miles per hour in Santa Monica and up to 50 to 75 miles per hour in the mountain areas where the Palisades fire is burning.
Communications Division, Papa.
Palisades Communications, LAV1.
LA Palisades Communications.
You have Division Papa hailing you.
confirming you're requesting me to hail Division Papa.
They've been hailing you. Would you like a later relay?
LA, go ahead.
Division Papa LAV1 for a relay.
Yeah, we have an engine requesting assistance with media causing a traffic hazard on the Pacific Coast Highway, cross of LA County Fire Station 70.
Palisades Communication Division Papa has an engine requesting PIO with media relations. Location Pacific Coast Highway next to LA County Fire Station 70.
LA, communications copies.
LA copies, relay complete. Palisades Air Attack, Air Operations Command.
Division Alpha, Palisades Communications.
And if you have been joining us,
Air Operations on command.
if you have been joining us, sometimes later in the evening, like last night, we showed the live night footage from the helicopters, which we get the stream of with our license. So please do look out for our streams at night, where we'll be showing, hopefully if we have more of those, we'll be showing them, and you'll be able to see live footage of how these fires are being affected. So please do keep your eye out for when we do go live.
Palisades Communications, field communications with a radio check.
Field communications, Palisades Communications, you're loud and clear.
Copy.
Operation Falco, go for Falco on command. Falco, Air Operations. I have an unauthorized UAS detected operating Solomon Reservoir. I have a ground contact team en route. I copy Sullivan Reservoir. What division? Is it close to a division or is that just the reservoir? It's Sullivan Dip. Copy Sullivan Dip, thanks.
Division Alpha, Palisades Communications.
Division Alpha, field communications on command.
Communications, Division Alpha, go ahead.
Alpha, you have Palisades comms trying to hail you. Are you able to hear them?
I just heard when you tried to reach me. Palisades Communications, Division Alpha, go ahead.
Division Alpha, reports of active fire behind the address of 3131 Mandeville Canyon Road.
Division Alpha.
Division Alpha, Branch 1, all Rev 8 on the Mandeville Structure Group.
Division Alpha. Yeah, Branch 1, Division Alpha, I copy that. Right here at 3131.
And you see here the map here given by the LAFD shows the extent of the fires currently, and even shows the aircraft that are helping out here. Look, but these are the extent of the fires. There's the Palisades fire, 22,660 acres. The Kenneth fire, the Hidden Hills, 1,052 acres. That's the Palisades fire. Wow. And then you have the Eaton fire over here. So it's 14,117 acres. Shows the aircraft there around the outsides. 14,117 acres, the Eaton fire. Then the Hearst fire there at the top. So this says 799 acres. So that's the current state of things there, and that's from the LAFD, the fire department. And 11% contained Palisades fire, 15% contained Eaton fire, so still 89% out of control with the Palisades fire, and 85% with the Eaton fire, 20% uncontained with the Kenneth fire, and then 76% of the Hearst fire is contained.
Mandeville, go ahead for communications.
Division Alpha, Mandeville Structure Group, on command.
Division Alpha.
That address, 3131 Mandeville, multiple resources at that address. No additional response needed.
Division Alpha copies, break Branch 1, you copy the traffic.
Branch 1, copy, thank you.
Alpha Structure Group back. Can we meet up?
I was going to try to venture down to you. I think for you to come up here and me to go down there, it'd be an hour plus. So.
Hey, firm, whenever you're this way. No rush.
I copy.
Palisades Communications.
Traffic for Yankee.
Yankee Communications. Reports of a fire behind 1551 Penny Road. 1551 Penny Road.
Yeah, Yankee copies. We have resources in the area and at that address.
Communications copies.
Communications Division Yankee with a hose order request.
Division Yankee, Palisades Communications.
Palisades Communications Yankee have a hose order request. A hose module order, 20,000 inch and a half, 10,000 1 inch, with a complement of nozzles and Ys delivered to LA County Fire Station 69.
Division Yankee, Communications copies. Can you advise a point of contact and a phone number?
Point of contact, Division Yankee trainee, 661-917-1429.
Division Yankee trainee confirming 661-917-1439.
1429.
1429.
Branch 10. Command 1. Unit calling Branch 10. Branch 10 operations, we got a message from Air Ops. We need to make sure that there are no water tenders that are in the area of Hell Spot 3, H3. They're impeding with the operations, air operations. I copy break. Yankee, Branch 10.
I've got a live shot here of the Palisades. Just give me a second. This is the Palisades, which you can see the smoke. I'll just get that over there. You can see the smoke hanging over the Palisades. This is live at the Palisades. You see the level of smoke that's hanging over the coast there. Not very good quality air to breathe, I shouldn't imagine.
Branch coming in, get them up to speed on what the plan is.
Yankee copies.
(9260) Charlie, engine 2252 on command.
Operations, Branch 10, on command. Go ahead. Hey, you still in my neck of the woods or you take off? We are coming up Entrada. Copy, I might run into you. Copy.
Branch 7, trainee, Branch 7, come in.
Branch 7 training, ma'am.
Your Rex, if you're still over near Topanga Canyon, it'd probably be helpful if you face-to-face with that Branch 10 over there as he's in briefing his new branch trainee, just so we got a clear picture of what they're doing tonight.
Copy, I'll head over that way now. I heard him over by Entrada.
Perfect, yeah, if you face-to-face, and then I'm over here in Division Union, we'll tie in face-to-face in a few hours.
Branch 7 training, copy, thanks. Yeah, Branch 5, operations on command, V1.
Well, I'm just going to scan on a bit to some other shots we have here. We have some helicopter shots. Sorry for the unprofessionalism here for a second. We have some helicopter shots of the destruction of after these fires. This is just from 30 minutes ago. So I'll switch to this now so you can see the destruction of all the terrible destruction of the houses and buildings in this area. So I'll turn the radio off. I think this has some audio on the helicopter.
There's just a lot more destruction there. St. James Place, Santa Anita Avenue, Marengo Avenue, Raymond Avenue, Emerson Way, everything in the vicinity of Los Forest Drive and Fair Oaks Drive. Marcel, if we can push in a little bit on Loma Alta Drive and Fair Oaks Drive, tilt up a little bit there, that whole area of that whole community, it looks like, people have said it looks like a hurricane, it looks like a tornado came through, it looks like a bomb went off. Those are all appropriate descriptions as we kind of go down southbound on Fair Oaks Avenue, starting from the hillsides and coming north. The amount of destruction, I can't find the words right now. It is mind-boggling to look at this, for me at least, for the first time. Well, the good news is right now, I don't see any active plumes of smoke coming from the Eaton fire right now. I am hearing that there is some fire activity going on the other side of Mount Wilson. That's on the other side. There's Mount Wilson there, the Mount Wilson Observatory. That was affected, I believe, on Thursday or Friday. All the days just kind of bleed together here, but Thursday or Friday, the fire made a run up Mount Wilson, and it actually knocked out our transmissions tower up there. There's a lot of transmission and communication towers for TV stations and law enforcement up on this mountaintop, so that became an issue. Our transmitter got knocked out, but we were able to restore service to our transmitter. So if you watch us with an antenna, and a decent amount of people do, it's quicker than starting a stream or something like that. So a lot of people still watch us with an antenna. You were not able to for about 24 hours a few days ago. So we had service restored on that. But to get to your point, Philip, the fire has gone up and over Mount Wilson, skipped over the observatory. It appears the transmitter sites on top and the observatory are safe, and the fire is now on the other side of the mountain, away from Altadena and away from Pasadena. Not to say that anybody's out of the woods yet. Nobody should let their guard down. Obviously, with multiple wind events still on the way, we don't want to let our guard down at all. And just looking at this destruction, you see why. But the good news that I can tell you right now is I don't see any active major plumes of smoke, just a little bit of smoke hanging on the other side of the mountain away from the communities of Pasadena and Altadena right now. So that's I hope is some good news that I can bring you right now as we continue to look at some of these using our sky map here. Homewood Drive, Altadena Drive. There are a couple of homes still standing on some of these streets. So you could see there's one there on the corner of Porter and Gaywood that looks like maybe it sustained a little bit of damage, but maybe otherwise still standing. There's a home there also on Porter. We'll try and widen out and get a little bit of a cross street there for you. But it's near Porter and Homewood Avenue. So there are still, especially as we start moving a little bit towards the west side of Pasadena, there are still homes in this area that somehow survived the inferno. And that's some great news here. But then you widen out and look at some of these other plots of communities that entire city blocks are completely flat. And I can't get over how shocking that is to see from the air. Yeah, we'll work our way up. I think right now, Ryan, let's pick a major, maybe like Lake, and we'll just track it north, so that we can stay really close on some of these addresses. How far is Lake from where you're at, Marcel? So let's start at the bottom of the damage, and then track it north. And then do you have the street numbers? I wonder what school is that? Charles Elliott Arts Magnet Academy, Altadena Hospital. Oh, I see. Yeah. I think so. Chris and Michelle, do you like the numbers on and the locations on? That's all we get there, huh? What's the next one? Probably Marengo. So let's set up south again, and then we'll track the next major up. Is that school still there? No. Pasadena Waldorf School is a loss. Fair Oaks Academy. Mariposa and Fair Oaks. Everything in that intersection is a loss. Good turnaround. I think we'll do Marengo and Fair Oaks, and then that should kind of cover it. Lincoln, okay. Okay. Should we do Fair Oaks? Fair Oaks and then Lincoln. Okay. All right, starting at Fair Oaks and Woodbury. What are they doing there with the ladders? Or are those just power pole stuff? Oh, cell phone antenna. Wow. Widen out a little right there? Is that was there damage to that school there? Oh, they saved the school. You said the fire station survived too, right? Hello, yep. Okay. Okay, copy that. Should we do Lincoln first and then come back and do that? Okay. Mish. Okay, copy. So somebody was at our 9. I thought I saw something. Yeah. All right, this is the 6 p.m. Copy, yep. We're gonna get back in position here and then do the 6 p.m. package. Copy. Check. Why can't I hear you, Marcel? There you are. Oh. So we're, let's come wide a little bit. Yeah, that's fine in there, because that's the worst of it. Okay. Let's start really tight and then come out wide and see what the see what we got. All right, this is the 6 p.m. package. Let me get a timer going here. All right, I'm gonna turn off, I'm gonna lower the volume on Kenwood here for a second. Stand by. This is the 6 p.m. package in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we've been doing an aerial survey in Air 7 using our sky mapping technology of the Altadena area, and we start tight here. That's Los Flores Drive, that's Poppy Fields Drive, and Emerson Way. And as we slowly widen out the shot, you can see kind of the breadth of destruction that we're seeing in the Pasadena, Altadena area. A lot of the northern part of Altadena and the northern part of Pasadena appears to have not fared so well in all of this this whole firestorm event here. As we push back in at some of these intersections, you can see that Poppy Fields Drive, Los Flores Drive, Marathon Road, Palm Street. Let's push in, Marcel, on Altadena and Fair Oaks, Loma Alta and Fair Oaks, excuse me. So that's East Loma Alta Drive and Fair Oaks, and you can see all of the homes on that particular block are a complete loss. On some of these city blocks that are a little bit further down and away from the hillsides, those tended to fare very slightly better. You'll see like maybe one home on a block or 2 homes on a block. Here, surprisingly, I'm seeing a couple structures still standing, but the vast majority of structures in this part of Pasadena and Altadena are a complete loss. For me, this is the first day that I'm getting to see the destruction on the Eaton Fire side of things. I've seen the destruction on the Palisades fire side of things, and that was shocking. That was intense to look at. And for me, looking at this, the Altadena destruction, it's just as bad. It's just as shocking and mind-boggling to see what has happened here. People have compared it to a hurricane or a tornado, or like a bomb went off, and all of those adjectives are a perfect descriptor of what I'm seeing here, because the amount of destruction, the amount of homes that are damaged, we know it's in the thousands, but to just see it firsthand, it is quite the sight to behold. It is shocking. It is terrible to see, and to think about what these residents must have been going through, trying to evacuate when those winds were coming through earlier this week. It's a terrifying thought to think of. And now looking at the destruction, it is definitely something that is just shocking and mind-boggling to look at here. That's the view from Altadena and Pasadena from Air 7. Gabe Santos, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Yes.
It's some live images here of the smoke you can see coming off. These are live images. By the way, everything we do here is licensed. We show live feeds that we've paid for, so you know what you're getting here is footage that is not on a loop or anything like that. This is footage that we have paid licenses to use, and I know it's legitimate. I know this is up to date. We have a dashboard here where we get the direct links. Some of these are from like official helicopters, some of these are from news helicopters, where we basically get the continuous stream. Sorry if that was loud in the background. So we basically get the continuous stream from helicopters, news helicopters and various things. These are all licensed live feeds which we pay to use, so we know that they're legitimate and they're not on a loop or anything like that. So if you find other YouTube channels that just keep showing footage on a loop, well, you know you can trust our footage is extremely recent or directly live. So this what you're seeing now is directly live. And you can see the damage and the current situation across the skyline in California. You see the smoke coming up. And this one here showing the damage, this is from a news helicopter. This damage footage that you're seeing here aired on our live feed about 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago. So this is the latest from above, showing the damage that has happened in this part of California. This is Pasadena. You'll see that they've got on the top, you'll see the addresses they're showing. So that's in Pasadena. That's Sky Map 7, which is part of their helicopter feed. And that shows, very handy, shows the exact roads and house numbers. And that is the damage. Like he said, it looks like a bomb's hit the place. Very, very sad, very. And these are the live images from above. You can see the coast and the smoke that is enveloping this area of California. Just look at that. The damage. And the smoke that's engulfing the neighborhoods. Just horrendous. And as I was saying today, as part of this stream, it's not the end yet. At the moment, there's a possibility of these stronger winds coming in overnight to tomorrow. So they've got more warnings out about these. We gave you an update with the National Weather Service, where they're talking about that earlier in the stream. If you've just arrived, please do scan back to the beginning of the stream. You can see some of the updates we gave in terms of that. Yeah, someone in the live chat said it's like glimpsing into hell. Yeah, it's awful, awful destruction. Yeah, and as other people have said, other parts of California are fine. This is just in these particular areas, I assume mostly around LA, from what we've seen. Thank you, Mud. Thank you for modding. Really appreciate your help. If you're here to troll, then the moderators will time you out, obviously, because it's just not necessary or helpful to anyone. Yeah, just terrible from above, isn't it? And again, a heart goes out to anyone that's affected by this in California. It must be really difficult out there. And just really sad to see some of the people that have been suffering there. Understandably, very difficult. Can't imagine how difficult that must be. Here's the coast. Yeah, and a lot of people are in evacuation centres and have lost their homes. And of course you've got all the concerns about the insurance and a lot of difficult times people have suddenly come into here. Yeah, Christopher said, how can anyone troll when people have been devastated and lost their lives and livelihoods? Absolutely. Well, it says the love of many will grow cold. Very sad. Yeah, and as the smoke must be really unhealthy as well, as you say.
So we used our sky map. The station was exactly in Altadena and Pasadena, and now we're doing the same thing with the Palisades. It's a little bit more of a smokier scene here because there is active fire and active flames on the Palisades fire right now. But we're taking a look now at Sosmore, excuse me for the pronunciation there, DePaul Street, just areas of the Palisades and into Malibu that are a complete, just incomplete ruins, and you see those street numbers pop up there, the 750s, the 770s, going into the 800s. There's Caruso Village right there off of Sunset. That one survived, but as we go a little bit further down and to the right, the Alphabet Streets, so much destruction in that area. Galloway, Embury, If Street, Kagawa Street, though Bashford, so much destruction around there. Chautauqua, Albright, the Alphabet Streets appear to have been just completely wiped off the map. And I heard someone say, you know, we were talking to a resident there, and they said, you might as well wipe the Pacific Palisades off the map, because that's what has happened here. Although, you know, just there's so many surprising instances where you see all of these city blocks just completely devastated, and then there's one house remaining, and you have to wonder how that person will be able to continue with their livelihood in their normal life, because everything around the neighborhood has been completely destroyed, let alone access to the neighborhood alone. So even if you have one home on a city block that's been completely demolished, will that person even be able to access their home and have some sense of normalcy? That question is yet to be determined, because I think it'll be some time before normal access will be restored to these areas as we continue to kind of look at some of these other streets here. Alma Real Drive, it looks like a few homes made it there. Earlham Street, a lot of destruction there. Lombard Street, Swarthmore Avenue, excuse my pronunciation on that one, but hopefully you're able to look at this SkyMap display as I am and pick out any street that maybe you've been concerned about, or any number that you've been concerned about, and hopefully we'll be able to offer some sort of closure, maybe if you've been wondering, if you didn't know if your property made it, or hopefully, maybe if you're lucky, we'll be able to help bring you some good news maybe, and show you that maybe your parcel is still standing right now. Yeah, it's gonna, yeah. Well, just to agree with Michelle's point there, it would be completely difficult, even if your home did survive, for you to have any sort of normalcy for quite some time to come, just because the entire community has been affected by this. The grocery store, gas stations, you have power lines, you have water line issues, you have cell tower issues, and some of those are being worked on kind of as crews move in and work on those things. But a lot of other things, like the schools in the area, if your child's school burned down, I think it's going to be some time before we have an answer to how you move on with your child's education. And these are just the questions that we don't think about until after a disaster like this happens, but it's definitely something that a lot of people are thinking about now. And Simon Desk Air 7. So we got probably about 30, 35 minutes. You want us just to go back to shooting the active part of the fire? Copy. Did you copy that? Cool. I don't know if this is worth marking if people are concerned about properties on this street. This part of the area is still okay off of once you get to like Sunset, Amalfi. Okay, we're gonna try and get a better position here. Where do we have to descend around one of the airspaces? Do you guys have 4 people in the... Okay, copy. We're getting around to get a better view. Wow. Flag's still waving. They got a good line around it on this side too. Well, we're getting back over the Palisades fire, and there's Mandeville Canyon Road in the center of your screen. You can see a lot of these homes and structures in Mandeville Canyon are covered in that fire retardant, and that's kind of what the goal was to you know, put down as much of that fire retardant as they can to try and you know, help with the firefighting effort and help with the flames that were creeping down Mandeville Canyon, down the side of Mandeville Canyon. And I think my first flight this morning was about in the 9 a.m. hour, and looking now at the whole scene, really, it does seem to have really improved. Earlier there was a lot of fire activity. It was slowly creeping down, but we had a lot of this dry brush burning, a lot of this heavy chaparral, these flashy fuels that firefighters refer to it as, and that was going up and putting up a lot of flame, and you were seeing a lot of heat. We saw a firenado earlier just because of all that heat developing from those some of that brush that was burning. And now, a few hours after that, I'm looking at this scene and I'm seeing just a lot of light white smoke just kind of wafting up from the canyon, and that tells me that the fire activity has really decreased since we first brought Air 7 over this scene earlier this morning, and even since I first took a look at this scene from the mid-morning hours on. And then you can see the pink line on the hillside, the pink line on the roofs and on the hillside. That was kind of the stand that fire crews using their aerial assets were working on. They were constantly dropping fire retardant, constantly making water drops, and that appears to have worked. Looking at this ridge here, that's Mulholland Drive, going from the top left corner of your screen and down towards the bottom right. There's the Encino Reservoir there. We had a lot of fire helicopters earlier this afternoon doing pickups from the Encino Reservoir and bringing it over to that corner there where that's the old Nike silo site there at the Mandeville Fire Road intersection with Mulholland Drive, Old Mulholland Drive. That became a dirt fire break, and that fire break really worked because the fire kind of crept up the hill. It didn't really creep up the hill. It went pretty fast up the hill, but once it got to the top of the hill, it did not have any sort of momentum to continue on down the other side of the hill. And so it looks like, at least at this point, that Mulholland Drive was able to be a very good fire break on the north side of this fire, and it does not appear that there's any fire activity moving further to the north towards Encino, towards Tarzana, and that sort of thing. We shouldn't let our guards down with these future wind events coming, but at this point it looks like Mulholland Drive was able to prove itself a very good fire break. As we look now at the far west flank of the fire, this fire is kind of working in two areas. There's two areas are the most active right now. You have the Mandeville Canyon part of the fire, and you have this part of the fire that is furthest to the west, close to Topanga Canyon Boulevard. It isn't quite towards Topanga Canyon Boulevard. A flank of the fire further towards the coast actually crossed Topanga Canyon Boulevard, but this area here, at the crest of Mulholland Drive, if you draw a line from the crest of Mulholland Drive over to Topanga Canyon, that has not burned yet, and that hasn't burned in quite some time. So there's a lot of dry brush there, and that's what you're seeing there. That's what you saw a second ago at the top of your screen. That was still burning. That's where those active flames are right now, and fire crews are keeping an eye on that. And if it progresses further to the west, that's when they bring in more helicopter operations, and they do water drops to try and prevent it from moving further to the west, because that still is a concern. Those are mandatory evacuations. If you're west from the fire zone, due west from the fire zone along Topanga Canyon, that's something to worry about. As we see now, one of those, this is the Helitanker Chinook helicopter, capable of carrying about 3,000 gallons of water. They're about to make another drop here, but overall, we're seeing some good progress as the day has turned to afternoon here from Air 7. 20 minutes, 20. Thank you. Top of the 6. Okay. So should we go now and come back, or should we wait and kill the 20 and then come back top of the 6? Yeah, we could definitely do that. But let us know. Yeah. Okay. Okay, copy that. One more time, Booth. Booth, were you calling your 7?
Thanks to Youth Guy Gav for your support. Buy me a coffee. Really appreciate for your help to keep us on the air. If you enjoy the live shots here and the licenses we pay to bring you it, if you want to help support the Rise News Live show, then please do become a channel member, or we have Buy Me a Coffee. Mud will post the links. Thank you for joining us, everyone. As I say, these are legitimate live streams. We don't steal these. These are things we pay a license for, so we can bring you the footage. And we'll probably head out soon and take a break, and maybe later on, if we have some live shots, we will bring you them like we did last night. So please do subscribe to the channel if you want to see them. Click the notification bell to all notifications so that you'll get an update when we go live. We'll have lots of coverage of these events, since this is quite significant, as I'm sure you can see. I've been covering this situation over the last few days, and I hope it's been beneficial and helpful to see what's going on. Providing a source here away from the mainstream, independent source of coverage. And we cover all sorts of events, whether they be conflict or weather events or significant world events. We've got the inauguration coming up in not long now, is it? It's the 11th of January, so only 9 days. And also, I think people have been saying that there's a rally before the... Thank you, Tim. Tim says this is the best coverage. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. And we've got a rally, I think, Donald Trump rally before the inauguration, so hopefully we'll have live shots of that as well. So we try to cover everything we can if it's something worth showing, to keep people informed, the viewers informed of what's going on in the world. So, and yeah, so lots coming up. I'm sure this year, 2025, a lot to cover really, because there's so much going on in the world. Thank you, Turbo Tyler. Well, just having you here is the main thing. It's really great to have you with us, and everyone who's been watching and supporting the lives, really do appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate you coming and watching this.
Well, we're looking at the west side of this fire again. Once again, this is all still the Palisades fire that's been burning for a number of days. As we see that tanker there coming through the shot, I believe it looks like the lead plane marked a spot for him to drop some fire retardant, and there he goes. Another drop of fire retardant being laid down on the west side of this fire. That's the U.S. Air Force, it looks like there. So that's it's definitely a pleasant sight to see all the different jurisdictions coming to help, and different aviation jurisdictions coming to help. We've seen helicopters from so many different parts of Southern California work to provide mutual aid and help out with the firefight here. Now, this western flank appears to be kind of the remaining problem child at this particular moment. Now, we know there's more winds expected tonight, and there's another wind event later in the week. But with this much active flames in the area, you see that pink fire retardant. It is laid down in front of these flames, but that's not an end-all be-all. That helps for sure, but that's not an end-all be-all to prevent the fire from spreading further west, and that is a concern that is still possible. There's talk about the area of Sylvia Canyon. Fire crews are actually requesting law enforcement to come through Sylvia Canyon and make sure that there's nobody remaining in those homes there, and they're going to try and heavily encourage anybody remaining to help them make the decision to leave if they're still in the Sylvia Canyon area, which is just west of this before you get to Topanga Canyon. But right now, this appears to be the most active front of the Palisades fire. The front that was kind of leaning down into Mandeville Canyon, that appears to be laying down at this point, so that's some good news there for the residents of Mandeville Canyon. But once again, the problem child remaining for the Palisades fire, at least at this point, before the winds come later on this evening, is apparently this western flank, and that's where firefighters are focusing their efforts tonight. Live in Air 7, Gabe Santos, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you guys in the studio.
Right, so we'll leave that there today. At the moment, as I said, there may be more live cams which I'll show raw tonight in the next few hours, so please keep your eye out. Thank you for joining us for this update, this broadcast. Appreciate all the viewers. Thank you, Mud, also for modding, and all the Nikki H and the other mods that have been here. Thank you all so much for joining us, and join you again soon. See you again soon. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Best 7 to Ask 7.